Hi Libra, welcome to your December 2023 Astro-Tarotscope with me, Raphael from Radiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, these readings are for your sun, moon and ascendant sign, though if you're only going to watch one, make sure it's for your ascendant. It's going to be the most accurate on that day-to-day level. With that said, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise. They help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So, can you believe it? 2024 is on the horizon. It's so crazy, right, that it's already the end of the year. So the first transit that I want to look at for you today is Venus, your ruling planet, on the 3rd of December is going to come into a square with Pluto in the sign of Capricorn. So this is happening across your first and fourth houses, right? So which means whenever things happen in the what we call the angular houses, the first, the fourth, the seventh and the 10th, they are felt quite viscerally and on the ground. You see them play out quite literally. So Venus is your ruling planet, so she's obviously in her own sign, so she's going to be much stronger than Pluto, who is not in his own sign. But this is a power struggle in some form of relationship, right? The first house, Libra, that's you. Capricorn, the fourth house, the home, family, property, and real estate. So there are a lot of things that are coming up here that may sort of see you almost trying to rethink the relationship that you're having, not only with yourself, but how you fit in with your family as a whole. It might also be that between you and family members, maybe even around a financial matter, especially where inheritance or various kind of similar stuff around those kinds of things might come up. The fourth house being your deep emotional makeup, it does suggest that you and obviously your ruling planet Venus are trying to exert your control in your life in some regard, and maybe someone from the family or maybe even a parent of some sort is not having it. It might also be that that charm offensive that you guys are known for, maybe it just doesn't cut it now, right? It's just no matter how much you try in that way, it's not having it. Now this might be around finances, as I said, but it could also be a clash of ideas and values at this time that shows up. For this, you have the Four of Swords, so you're going to have to take it easy. You got the Two of Pentacles. Yeah, look, and then the Knight of Pentacles. This is around a financial matter. There is a disagreement of some sort on around the 3rd of December. There's a disagreement. There's something potentially maybe that you're wanting to do that has a financial implication, and maybe a family member or maybe somebody that you live with is kind of trying to highlight to you that actually I don't think this is a good idea. And where maybe usually you would kind of, do the Libran thing and say, okay, well, let me think about this from your perspective and blah, blah, blah. This could be that you're not actually willing to back down this time. You're not willing to kind of say no, or to push down your own desire to make somebody else happy, or to make somebody else feel sort of more secure or more comfortable, whatever the case might be. And these cards, the Two of Pentacles is very much about the budget, and you've got this with the Knight of Pentacles, which suggests that there's a part of you that's like, okay, maybe this is a stretch goal financially, maybe I don't have the means to do it right now, but I know I can make this happen. So there's a part of you, I think, here, it's almost like you're trying to back yourself, but there's someone in the midst, a family member, somebody that you live with, or maybe even just your heritage, the voice of your parents in the background that is kind of getting you to say, is kicking in all of that sort of doubt that comes in. So it will be interesting to see how this shows up for you guys and what you guys let me know in the comments. All right, so the next transit that I want to look at for you is Venus is going to come into the sign of Scorpio, into your second house of money and finances and resources. And she's going to immediately set up a trine to Saturn in your sixth house of work, your day-to-day habits, your daily routines, and, interactions with the world on that maintenance level. It's also your physical health and vitality. So wherever Venus comes into the second house, she brings a boost to your finances, right? This is a boost in your financial life. It's sweet, it's short, it's usually very welcome, but she immediately sets up that trine to Saturn. And what this suggests to me is that through some kind of new responsibility, whether this is in your own business, whether this is in you as an employee, it's like whatever boost to the finances shows up for you as a result of Venus moving through this second house, because it immediately comes into that trine with Saturn in Pisces. It's like whatever this boost to the finances is, it's actually here to stay, or excuse me, or it's going to be with you for longer than just the transit itself. So I actually really like that. I will say, because Saturn is involved, there will be extra responsibility with this. It will be something that you are expected to show up with. And although Venus is in her fall in Scorpio, she's in the second house, which is a house that she has a natural affinity to because it's her natural habitat. So I actually really like this for you. Now, as if that wasn't enough, the moon is going to be in the 12th house, setting up a grand trine with Jupiter. And where are you? Mercury at this time, right? So that's going to be happening in the background, and it's kind of like a stabilizing energy. But because this is happening across your 4th, 8th and 12th houses, that's quite a potent energy, and it's because it's in the very deepest parts of your chart. There is a chance for you to rewrite your financial energies here, but it will require a really deep look at within yourself, and where it is that you're ready to ask yourself if you are actually ready for more. But either which way, I actually really like it. For this, you've got the Hierophant card, okay, with the Page of Cups. Look at this, right? So changes on the internal level, deep sort of maybe even meditation, visualization, really getting into understanding how to shift and change that financial mindset for you, which I'm going to talk about in a moment. And then you've got this with the King of Pentacles. So a Taurus man may feature for you as part of this as well. It's very possible. Excuse me. So I actually really like that. And, potentially this is you having a really deep, either very spiritual experience, 4th, 8th and 12th, right, in a grand trine, either a very spiritual experience, or you're having a conversation or a meditation of some sort that really helps you cement a different financial future for yourself. I don't say that lightly. This could be a really powerful moment in time if you do the observation work. Right now, speaking of, I wanted to mention, obviously your year ahead Astro-Tarotscopes are out there. They're $7.99 a piece this year, or you can get the bundle for $49.99. But on top of that, if you have any form of love or money blocks or any challenges when it comes to the energy work that needs to be done, especially for 2024, then the New Year, New Frequency, it's an energy work based mini course that I've created. You can do this in 3-4 days max, right? It's short, sharp and focused, but it's very powerful. I've had great results from this energy work. My clients are getting great results. If you've seen on the socials, I've posted little snippets about things that people have said. People are already taking it now, getting it underway for 2024, and you'll have this throughout the year so that you can continually work on those, removing those blocks for yourself, right? I have to say, I'm really proud of this one. I think it's one of the best things that I've ever created, and there's nothing like this out there. I know that. I can say that with my head held high and my chest proud, because I put everything into this, and there's nothing like this out there. So I'm very, very happy. I'm very proud of it. You can, at this point, I think there are like 4 or 5 discount codes that might work. I'm not going to put any more out because I put tons out there, and all the people that jumped on it got it. But I think there's like 4 or 5 of them at this point, so you can get it for £99 instead of £111. So yes, there's that. All right. So thank you for allowing me to sell you things from time to time. This is, after all, my business. So thank you, thank you, thank you. So on the 14th of the month, Mercury is going to go retrograde. As part of that retrograde, it will come back into Sagittarius, but it starts on the 14th in the sign of Capricorn. Now, for you, this is the 4th house of home, family, property, real estate, your deep emotional makeup. It's also your roots, your heritage, what's gone into making you who you are. For some of you, this might actually be a change of circumstances when it comes to a home situation. It also suggests as well that some kind of paperwork around home and living situation might be coming up for review at this time. So if you are signing a contract around this time in terms of renting or leasing a house or even buying a house, that wouldn't be a surprise. But at the same time, just be mindful about this. Right now, in the trine to Jupiter in the 8th house, this is joint finances, right? So Jupiter's in the sign of Taurus, Uranus is there as well. Where are you, buddy? Let's put that in there as well. So Jupiter in Taurus is going to be trine at the time to this Mercury retrograde when it starts. This is joint finances, especially around living situation or a home life situation that is being rethought in some way. For some of you, this could be a conversation about changing the price of the property that you're living in. So maybe your landlord wants to put your rent up and you're saying, well, listen, I'm happy to stay where I am, but I'm not interested in paying any more for it than I am at this moment in time. I will say, even though it's a Mercury retrograde, negotiate hard. All right, for this, you have the Seven of Wands. Well, there's your negotiating hard. With the Chariot card, this is you coming out successful and victorious. You got this with the Queen of Wands. So you will need to set a boundary with this, and you will need to kind of say to your landlord or your, whoever you're purchasing the property from or with, listen, this is how I want us to proceed. Now, you've got the Seven of Wands, you've got the Chariot, 2 sevens, because the Chariot is number 7. 2 sevens represents news. And you've got this with the Queen of Wands. They're going to try to call your bluff, all right? It's important that you stand your ground and you hold your boundary. Remember, as much as, everyone thinks, the power's with the landlord, it costs them time and money for a tenant to leave a property. So use that to your advantage. Okay, yes, you can rent it out to somebody else, but first of all, you don't know how long the property is going to be empty. Second, you've got to go through all the rigmarole of advertising and all the rest of it. Remember, you also have a strong footing here as well, right? So if you don't own your own home, this could show up like that. If you do own your own home, hold out or haggle hard with the potential prospective buyer. And if you're selling your home, negotiate and haggle hard, all right? So not bad at all. And then finally, on the 27th, Mars, because Mercury will come back into Sag, Mars is going to conjunct Neptune. Sorry, Mars is going to conjunct Mercury, and they are going to square Neptune in your 6th house, right? So this is going to be a pretty big deal, because that's setting up some kind of confusion. All right, now I gotta say, because the 3rd house for you of Sagittarius is your day-to-day communications. It's communications, conversations, commercial sales, all of that kind of stuff. It's even a contract house as well, the 3rd house as well. Your responsibilities might have shifted when it comes to work, but Neptune here, right, and that's a big part of this. Neptune here, because obviously at the beginning of the month when you had Venus in that trine to Neptune, which was really nice, it's given you more responsibility. But now as you come to the end of the month, maybe you've got this new responsibility, but between this 3rd and 6th house, it's like something's making Mercury's Neptune is doing it already, is making things a little bit hazy, and Mercury's retrograde at this time. So in a square, you're not getting all the facts, you don't have all the information. Now Mars for you rules the 2nd house and the 7th house, and Mercury rules the 9th house and your 11th house, right? So excuse me, that's financial connections and relationships, okay, are coming into question in some regard. It could also be a fundamental difference over a spiritual matter or belief that bubbles over. Be very careful with legal matters and documents and paperwork at this time, because that 11th house is activated because Mercury retrograde is activated by that Mars. All right, and because Mars rules the 7th house of contracts, etc., you want to be extra careful around this stuff. If there were ever a time to read the fine print, this is it. Okay, so just be mindful about all of the things that you're doing around contractual matters at this time. You've got the Moon card, you don't have all the facts with the Ace of Swords. So there's a contract that you're signing, but again, make sure you read the fine print. You've got this with the Ace of Wands. So wherever contracts are involved, two aces can, doesn't always, but can represent trickery. You've got this combined here with the Moon card. Excuse me, where you are signing any form of contract or interacting with anything or anyone of, on a legal sort of note, just make sure that you get a second opinion or you double read everything that's kind of in that. All right. And then for your moons, on the 12th of the month, we have the new moon in the sign of Sagittarius. The reason this is also interesting as well, and maybe actually you have some protection here, is because at the same time as this square, we're going to have a full moon in the sign of Cancer, which is in your 10th house of your legacy, your career in the world, and your social status. So there's that. All right. Speaking of moons, your new moon is in the 3rd house. The moon loves to be in the 3rd house, right? So the moon does good work in the 3rd. Because it's a house that she enjoys, that she knows, that she understands in some regard. Now that 3rd house new moon, this could literally be a change in how you interact with your local area. This could be a development in the life of a sibling in some way, shape or form as well. That's possible. And as it's the 3rd house, your communication style is coming up for review in some regard here. And for this, you have... Oh, okay. That card seems to want out. So your new moon message is the Gate 25 and Innocence. And this is really about allowing the truth of who you are to shine through to the front. Right? This is about presenting the part of you that is clearest and purest. So when it comes to all of your communications, honesty in all levels, right, is absolutely being advised. And then that full moon on the 27th for you is happening in your career sector. You're literally the most public part of you. So you have a massive spotlight on you at this moment in time. And for this, you've got the Gate 59 and Intimacy. I see this card as falling back in love with life and getting really involved in it, right? And it also represents love and relationships, and in that 10th house, that's your social status, which is also your marital status. So for some of you, there might be something going on in relationships here, or there's potentially a relationship coming in. At any rate, you are delving into a more intimate sense of enjoyment and experience with life. All right. With that said, whatever you do or don't celebrate, from my heart to yours, I just want to say a massive thank you so much for all of your support throughout 2023. It means the absolute world. Your life path videos, how to calculate your life path, how to calculate your personal year, all of that good stuff is up and out there on YouTube, totally free for you. So go check them out. And also, whether you celebrate Yule, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah or Christmas, I really do wish you a wonderful holiday season. Take care of yourselves. Again, thank you so much for all of your support. Take care, and I'll see you in the new year.